You made it through security. Your bags overhead, your seats by the window. Everything should feel calm. But up at 30,000 feet, there's a silent tension brewing. And here's the twist. You might be the cause of it. Flight attendants are trained to smile through turbulence, delays, screaming toddlers. But there's a whole list of things passengers do that secretly drive them up the wall. So if you want better service and fewer passive-aggressive glances from behind the curtain, here are 17 things flight attendants quietly hate, and how to avoid being that passenger. Let's start with the move that never fails to make them wince. The boarding line's crawling. You're almost at your seat when someone suddenly bolts toward the lav. Seems harmless, right? Except to the crew, it's a miniature crisis. Boarding is timed. Every minute counts. If things run late, it reflects on the flight attendants, not the guy who couldn't wait 5 minutes. When one person breaks the line to pee, it slows everything down. The aisle gets jammed, the head count gets thrown off, and worst case, takeoff gets delayed. And here's something most passengers don't realize. Lavs are often still being cleaned and restocked during boarding. So when you barge in, you're stepping straight into someone else's prep time. Not cool. Also, FAA rules say the plane can't take off if anyone's in the bathroom or out of their seat. So if you're still inside when the pilot gets the green light, the flight might lose its turn and end up waiting, all because of a poorly timed bathroom break. The fix is simple. Use the terminal restroom before boarding. It's bigger, cleaner, and no one's silently judging you while they wait in line with a roller bag digging into their shins. You've seen them. The travelers with a roller bag, a giant backpack, a neck pillow the size of a golden retriever, and a shopping bag full of snacks swinging wildly off one arm. They finally make it onto the plane, and then jam everything into the first overhead bin they see. Never mind that their seat's 8 rows back. Here's the problem. Overhead space is limited. When one person hogs more than their share, everyone else scrambles. And flight attendants, they're left playing high-stakes luggage Tetris while trying not to delay departure. Even worse is when someone stashes their stuff up front, then walks to the back to sit. That means passengers in front now have to go backwards just to retrieve their bags when the plane lands. It's annoying, it's inefficient, and it turns the aisle into a freeway at rush hour. So here's the golden rule. Bring one carry-on and one personal item. Use the space under the seat in front of you, and if the overhead bin above your seat is open, that's your bin, not the one that's more convenient 3 rows earlier. Trust me, nothing wins a flight attendant's silent approval faster than a passenger who doesn't treat the cabin like their personal storage unit. There's always one. The person who opens a tuna sandwich at cruising altitude, or the one who kicks off their shoes and lets their socks do the talking. As if on cue, that recycled cabin air, it's working overtime to share the experience with everyone on board. Here's the thing. You're inside a sealed metal tube, breathing the same filtered air as 200 strangers. That means whatever scent you release, food, feet, fragrance, it doesn't just stay with you. It becomes a group project. Yes, that includes overspraying perfume, microwaving spicy leftovers, or airing out your gym socks mid-flight. Flight attendants are trained to stay polite, but many of them are silently suffering inside. So what's the move? Keep it neutral. Bring snacks that don't smell like a science experiment. Use deodorant, and maybe keep your shoes on unless you're absolutely sure those socks are fresh. If it wouldn't fly at a church potluck, don't bring it into the sky. The headphones are on, the movie's playing, you're locked in. And then you feel it, a gentle wave in your line of sight. It's the flight attendant asking, coffee or tea? We've all been there. But here's the deal. When you ignore them completely, it slows everything down. They're trying to serve 150 people in a tiny aisle with a cart that barely fits a yoga mat. All it takes is a quick glance up. Remove one earbud. Nod. Answer. Done. No small talk required, just a moment of human connection so the service can keep moving. They're not trying to break your vibe. They're just trying to get everyone their drink while the ice is still ice. You spot an empty row. Your brain lights up like a slot machine. Jackpot! So you wave down a flight attendant and ask, "Mind if I move?" On paper, it sounds harmless. In reality, it's a logistical headache. Seat assignments aren't just about comfort. They're part of a carefully balanced plan. Weight distribution matters. Emergency protocols matter. And when you switch seats without clearance, it can throw off everything from service flow to passenger counts. Plus, it puts the crew in an awkward spot. Say yes, and they might be bending rules. Say no, and they're the bad guy ruining your legroom dreams. If you want a better seat, your best shot is at the gate, before boarding. Once you're in the air, think of your seat as a lifelong commitment, at least for the next few hours. No last-minute real estate deals at 35,000 feet. A little turbulence. The seatbelt sign dings on, and almost instantly, someone pops up, opens the overhead bin, and starts digging like it's Black Friday at 30,000 feet. Let's be clear. When flight attendants are strapped in, you definitely should be too. Standing during turbulence isn't just risky for you, it's dangerous for the people around you. You could fall, slam into someone, get hit by a cart, or turn into an airborne bowling ball if the plane suddenly drops. Unless it's a genuine emergency, sit tight. That sign is there for a reason, and ignoring it isn't just inconsiderate, it's downright reckless. Save the aisle workouts for after landing. The flight crew's got enough to worry about without babysitting grown adults playing whack-a-mole with the overhead bins. You're thirsty, or chilly, or wondering what time you're connecting flight boards. So you press the call button. Fair enough. But if you're hitting that thing every 10 minutes for snacks, napkins, updates, seat advice, a second round of peanuts, you're not being resourceful. You're being that passenger. Flight attendants don't mind helping. That's literally their job. But overusing the call button turns a helpful tool into a running joke, and not in a good way. They notice who presses it constantly, and eventually, you get mentally filed under low priority. Not ignored, just not rushed. So use it with intention. Need a drink? Sure. Something urgent? Of course. But don't treat it like a personal concierge buzzer in the sky. This isn't a hotel. It's a flying metal tube with 200 people and 3 carts of pretzels. You've had the menu for an hour. Maybe even flipped through it twice. Then the cart rolls up and you ask, "Wait, what are the options?" That sigh you just heard? It wasn't the engine. It was the flight attendant's soul leaving their body for a second. The in-flight meal service runs on a tight clock. Every moment spent waiting for you to decide means someone else behind you is still holding their tray table down, wondering if they'll get their first choice, or just whatever's left. Here's a trick. Decide early. Or if you really can't, smile and say, "Surprise me." You'll get something edible, and the crew will appreciate your flexibility more than you know. The goal isn't gourmet, it's efficiency. And nothing slows down a cart faster than someone turning a 2-item menu into a philosophical dilemma. Airplane meals aren't exactly 5-star dining. We all know that. But the moment that cart starts rolling down the aisle, something strange happens. Passengers lose all chill. Let's start with expectations. If your first choice meal runs out, try not to take it personally. Flights only load a fixed number of each option. If 12 people before you wanted chicken and you're number 13, that's not sabotage. It's just supply and demand. Getting mad at the crew won't conjure up extra pasta from the galley. And timing? It matters. When the cart's coming through, that's not your cue to stretch in the aisle or walk your toddler like it's a park lap. Those carts are heavy. They're hard to steer. And if one slams into your shin, yeah, it's gonna hurt. Bonus points if you give the flight attendant a dirty look like it was their fault. Then there's the tray drama. Some passengers, thinking they're being helpful, hand over their used tray right in the middle of service. But here's the problem. They're still handing out clean meals. Now there's a dirty tray sitting where a fresh one's supposed to go. Not helpful, just messy. And please, don't put your tray on the floor. No one wants to fish half-eaten lasagna off the carpet like they're clearing tables at a roadside diner. Last but not least, stacking. It might feel helpful, lining up your cup inside your bowl, squeezing your napkin under the juice box like a little tower of good intentions. But for the crew, it just makes things harder. Those carts are made for flat trays, not snack sculptures. The more you stack, the more time they spend unstacking. It's not efficient, it's just extra work. So keep it simple, be patient, and maybe don't treat mealtime like it's a solo challenge on Survivor Spuvver Sky Edition. You see the trash bag making its way down the aisle. It's your cue. Time to hand over your empty cup, snack wrapper, maybe that used napkin you've been hoarding in the seat pocket. But instead, you act like it's invisible. Or worse, you shove everything into the seat back pocket like it's a personal landfill. Newsflash, that pocket isn't a trash can. Someone's gonna sit there after you. And if the flight's a short turnaround, the crew may only have minutes to clean the cabin before the next group boards. So be decent. When the trash bag comes, use it. Don't try to hand off your garbage when they're mid-beverage service and juggling 5 cups. And please, don't leave behind a crime scene of crumbs and wrappers for someone else to deal with. A little cleanup goes a long way. Especially when you realize the person picking up after you might have just worked 3 flights in a row. It's a full flight. You're halfway through your meal, trying to ignore the tiny war happening between your elbow and the stranger next to you. And then it hits you. Not turbulence, not engine noise, a smell. Yep, someone just changed a diaper on the tray table. Look, everyone loves babies, really. But that tray? It's meant for food, not poop. And the seat? That's where someone's going to sit for the next 5 hours, not host a surprise diaper reveal. Every airplane has a bathroom with a changing table. It's not glamorous, but it exists. That's the place to go when your little one needs a fresh start, not the middle seat in row 22. And please, for the love of everything at cruising altitude, don't hand that dirty diaper to a flight attendant like it's part of the meal trash. Wrap it, bag it, walk it to the lav trash bin like a decent human. Because changing your baby on a tray table isn't efficient. It's just gross. And now nobody wants to touch their food. It's tiny, it's turbulent, and yes, it probably smells a little off before you even get there. But the airplane bathroom still deserves basic respect. Flush the toilet, wash your hands, wipe down the sink if you've splashed water everywhere, like it's a hotel spa. And when you leave, close the door behind you. It's not a dressing room. No one wants to walk by and get a full view of your I was here moment. Here's the reality. Hundreds of people are sharing that same little closet in the sky. And flight attendants, they're the ones who have to step in every 30 minutes to check that it hasn't turned into a horror movie set. You can't control what the last person did, but you can make sure you're not the one who ruins it for the next. It's not about being fancy, it's just about not being gross. The cabin lights dim, the seatbelt signs blink. A flight attendant steps into the aisle, ready to walk you through the safety briefing, and half the plane immediately zones out. Headphones go in, Instagram opens, and the safety demo becomes white noise. But here's the thing, that demo's not for show. It's the same info that could save your life if something actually goes wrong. Even seasoned travelers forget where their nearest exit is or how to use that life vest. Paying attention takes 2 minutes, and it tells the crew you respect what they're doing. You might not need it, but if you ever do, you'll be glad you listened. Besides, some airlines do make the demos entertaining. Give them a chance. It might be the only in-flight performance that doesn't cost extra. It might seem innocent, a tap on the arm, a gentle nudge, maybe a light grab at the elbow. But if you wouldn't do that to a stranger at a restaurant, don't do it to someone working 35,000 feet in the air. Flight attendants aren't props. They're professionals doing their job in tight spaces, often balancing trays of hot coffee or maneuvering through turbulence. Getting poked, tugged, or grabbed? It's not just uncomfortable, it's borderline disrespectful. If you need help, there are better ways. Say excuse me, use the call button, make eye contact, and most importantly, keep your hands to yourself. A little courtesy goes a long way, especially in the sky, where personal space is already on life support. You've seen the viral clips. Someone pulls out their phone during a heated moment with a crew member, uploads it, and the internet doesn't miss a beat. Opinions flood in. But here's what most people miss. Recording flight attendants without their consent isn't just rude. It can also get you in trouble. It creates tension, distracts from real safety duties, and fuels drama in a space where calm, not chaos, is critical. Plus, no one signed up to be background noise for your content. Got an issue? File a report after the flight. Most airlines take complaints seriously. But pointing a camera in someone's face mid-shift isn't justice. It's just adding fuel to an already pressurized situation. This isn't reality TV. It's their workplace. Let them do their job without becoming your next post. Leg room is tight. You're trying to stretch, shift, maybe find that one magical position where your knees don't feel like they're in a hostage situation. We get it. But here's what flight attendants and your fellow passengers hate. When your feet start exploring places they shouldn't. That means toes poking between seats, feet resting on tray tables, armrests, or worst of all, someone else's seat. Yes, it happens. More often than you'd think. Look, we all want to get comfy, but your feet aren't VIPs. They don't need their own vacation. Keep them on the floor, in your space, and out of everyone else's. It's not just about manners. It's about basic respect in a place where shared space is sacred. The plane starts its descent. The intercom chimes. Please return your seatbacks to the upright position and stow your tray tables. And yet, you're reclined halfway to first class, your tray still hosting the remains of a protein bar and a half-finished Sudoku. You might think no one notices, but the crew does. Always. These aren't optional requests. They're safety rules. The seat and tray need to be positioned a certain way in case of a rough landing or sudden stop. That's not just procedure, it's protection. And don't fake sleep. They've seen that move 1,000 times. If anything, it makes the whole thing more awkward. Be the adult in the room. Adjust your seat. Fold your tray. It takes 5 seconds and saves everyone a whole lot of hassle. The flight's over. You grab your bag, stretch a little, and head for the door. But behind you? A battlefield. Crumbs on the seat, napkins on the floor, stir sticks rolling off the tray like tumbleweeds. Here's the truth. Flight attendants don't clock out when the wheels hit the ground. They often have less than 30 minutes to turn that plane around for the next flight. And if your row looks like a snack pack explosion, guess who has to clean it? A quick tidy up makes a big difference. Toss your trash when the bag comes around. Wipe your crumbs. Don't leave behind a science experiment in the seat pocket. If your mom wouldn't be proud of the mess, maybe don't leave it on a plane. It's not about being perfect. It's about not being that passenger. So now you know. 15 things flight attendants secretly hate, and how not to be the reason they roll their eyes once the curtain's closed. Air travel doesn't have to be stressful. A little courtesy goes a long way, especially when you're sharing tight space, stale air, and 4 bathrooms with 180 people. If you learned something new or had that, uh-oh, I've done that moment, hit the like button. Share this with your favorite travel buddy. And don't forget to subscribe for more behind-the-scenes tips from the friendly skies. Fly smart, fly kind, and please, leave the tuna salad at home.